Hey guys, what's up? So, is this the worst 4x12 that you can buy? Let's find out. Alright guys, so this is one of the cheapest 4x12 cabinets that you can buy on the market today. And I'll put the price up here somewhere. But it is the EVH Iconic 5150 cabinet. The 5150 Iconic amplifier is kind of the budget model of the 5150 line. It is meant to be kind of an homage to the original block letter 5150s. And they made a cabinet to match it that has specific speakers that are supposed to complement the sound of this amp. Now, if you saw the video I did like a year ago where I had a combo amp, a 5150 Iconic combo amp, and I listened to the stock speaker that came in that combo amp, I was thoroughly unimpressed with that speaker, so much so that I wanted to replace that speaker. But I also know that when you change the size, dimensions, and you add more speakers to a space, a cabinet can make the speaker sound a lot different. So I was given this cab for free by my friend Amar, who just said, "I don't want this, do you want it?" And I said, "Sure, I'll check it out." And so I decided, why not just give it a listen and see if it's really as bad as some people say it is, or is it as good as some people claim for the price. So like I said before, the speakers that come in these cabs are a proprietary EVH 5150 Iconic speaker. They're a 40 watt, 12-inch, 16 ohm speaker. There's 4 of them in here. They have kind of a large dust cap, if I had to describe them, and in the 1x12 enclosure with the combo amp, I thought they sounded a little bit brittle, a little bit thin. And so what I'm going to do today is I'm going to play some riffs through this cab, through this amp, and I'm going to give you my impression of the in-the-room sound, and then we'll listen to each individual speaker with this SM57, and maybe I'll throw in some room mic, audio, and see if this cabinet is really that bad. Can it be used in a studio setting? Can it be used in a live setting? I don't know. Let's find out. Alright guys, so I got my John Brown Signature Tau 7 here to play some riffs into this amp, and I got it set up for mainly high gain stuff. What I got going on with the mic is SM57, like I said before, and what I found was that it sounds best when it's just off of the dust cap. Now the dust cap is pretty big. It's probably like a good 3-inch dust cap as opposed to like a 1-inch or like maybe a 2.5-inch dust cap. And so where it kind of sounds best is a little bit further afield than what I would have on like a V30, which has a smaller dust cap, which I would usually try to point it right at where the edge of the cap is. Here I found you got to go a little bit beyond the cap, otherwise it is a little bit harsh on the mic. I'm going to go ahead and play a couple clean bars here, and you can get a sense of what this cab does clean. With the clean tone, I don't have it really dialed in for a real sparkly clean, and these are pretty hot pickups. They got a bit of grit to them. So with this, the sound of the speaker that I'm getting is there is kind of like this top end sizzle that comes through even on clean tones when it starts to break up. Let me switch over to the high gain channel here, the red channel, and we'll see kind of what that sounds like. Alright, so I'm on the red channel. I have it set up kind of how I like it. No external overdrive or boost, just the red channel, and here's what I got. Alright, so I was messing around a little bit with some of the EQ on there, some of the presence, the burn feature. I'm going to turn the gate up more. I have my gate up front too. There's a built-in gate on this amp. I know this amp sounds pretty good because it sounds really good through my Mesa oversized 412. In the room, what I'm getting is a very percussive, like mid-range sound. I'm getting a good attack. It's the low end though that's really kind of throwing me off a bit. Now I don't have it on casters, it's sitting on the floor, so that's going to add a little bit to how the low end reverberates. But I'm hearing something kind of weird in some of those palm mutes. I don't know, it's almost like the low end is being kind of swallowed and then it's almost like it compresses and then it kind of blooms. It's almost like maybe this is too much amp for the cab, even though I know that's not true. I know I have the ohms are correct setting on the back. I know that everything's wired up correctly. If I turn the volume down just a scotch and the gain up a little bit, maybe the low end scale back, mids up, high up, resonance back, presence up. Yeah, I mean, it sounds better when I turn down the volume, but I don't really like that as an option. I mean, I want it to be able to compete with the drummer. I don't know. It's kind of weird. You turn the mid-range down, it gets pretty fizzy. You turn the presence down, or the resonance, up too much, and it gets very weird too. Lows I turn down a little bit. I'd like to set this kind of how I would prefer it, which is the lows up in the middle, mids at 6, highs at 6. If I turn the gain down a little bit, it has a lot of gain, actually. Presence at 6, resonance, maybe I'll scale back to 4. That's better. Is it optimal? I don't know. In the room, it doesn't sound bad. Maybe this guitar is a little too modern. Maybe something with a little bit more of a squishy, less modern sounding pickup set. Maybe. But really, that shouldn't matter. What I'm getting in the room... Even with the neck pickup, it's a pretty harsh sound in the room. I almost feel like these need to be broken in, but let's go ahead and move on to, listening to each different speaker kind of isolated with, a couple riffs and then maybe some room mic noise and see if, maybe this is usable in any kind of recording context. right, so I went ahead and listened back to all 4 speakers and some of the room mic audio. Granted, I'm in a garage, no treatment, so a lot of reflections going on in here. Listening to the cab in the room while I'm playing it, there is definitely some hampering of the low-end ability here. I think if I had this on casters, it actually might be better. Granted, listening back to the speakers individually, it's, you know, I tried my best to pinpoint the exact same spot on each, location. You know, I might have got it a little bit closer to the cap on this particular speaker, because I noticed this one was a bit brighter than the other 3. That could also be the variance of the speakers, because what was interesting is both the speakers on the left side of the cab were darker than the speakers on the right side of the cab. And then the low end on the speakers on the bottom of the cab were different from the speakers on the top of the cab. If I was going to mic this cab for any purposes, I'd probably stick with the one that I originally went with, which was the top left. To me, that had the best balance. Overall, for the price, the cab's not bad. Is it the worst cab that I've ever heard? No, but it's close to being on the bottom of the list of what I would say is, you know, a professional sounding cab, especially for high gain. I do think that if you have the money, find something better, because I know this amp sounds good through a good speaker cab. I've used it through my Mesa oversized 412 and it sounds phenomenal. Through this cab, it gets a little bit choked off. I almost think that I might try a couple different amps with this speaker cab to see if maybe the idea of these being matched or, you know, meant for each other isn't quite, you know, right. In a live setting, it will get you, you know, a decent sound out there, especially in a, you know, in like an area that's meant for the acoustics. Close mic, it even sounds okay when you find the right speaker. You know, I implore everybody when they get a speaker cab, if they're going to mic it up, to mic every one and just see which one you like the best. And if you find a good one, go ahead and mic it. So, regardless, that was what I wanted to do today. Leave your comments down below. What do you think of the iconic cab? I got it for free from a friend, and I have no obligation to say anything nice about it. It's okay. It's not the worst thing ever, and it's not that great. So let me know what you think. Later.